The Groseille Youth and Sports Development Council has set out to divide the constituency into a North and South division for sporting purposes. Speaking with outgoing President Chad Daisy, he explains why this separation is of importance to the continued growth of the Youth and Sports Council. Solange Alfred has more in this report.
The constituency of Groseille has for many years been divided because of its sheer magnitude. To address this situation, the Groseille Youth and Sports Development Council has sought to perform its own division with the hopes of adequately serving all areas of Groseille effectively. Outgoing President Chadi Daisy explains that the size of the constituency of Groseille warranted the creation of a North and South branch of the Groseille Youth and Sports Council.
And we look at the dynamics coming into Groseille, looking at past executives and whatnot, had a discussion with them, and they would tell you that Groseille has 6 Groseilles in it. You have Cap Estate that identify as Cap Estate, and not Groseille. You have Monchi, identify as Monchi, and not Groseille. So when people say Groseille, it's more town, Groseille town. So that caused a whole, I would say, shift in how we do programming and whatnot. Because when we host an activity as a Groseille Youth and Sports Council, you may see that Cap Estate would not come, Grenivier, which is more on the southern belt, will not come, Corinth will not come, because they don't identify as being Groseille. So because of that, looking at the past 2 years now, as the president, we met with NYC to discuss what strategies can be used to involve more youth in volunteerism, basically.
Daisy said these discussions lent a hand in the creation of an interim committee for the Southern Division, while the Northern Division is still working on gathering youth to serve on the committee.
The ministry gave us the blessing to split the Groseille into 2 because of that. And knowing that Groseille, in terms of population-wise, I mean, you have at least 20,000 people living in Groseille. And if one council could not do the job, hopefully 2 councils can come to collaborate going forward to meet more young people.
Daisy expressed his pleasure with the decision and hopes that the resolution to split Groseille into North and South will allow the council to better serve the youth of Groseille. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
The National Enrichment Program is being championed as a creative new horizons for many who do not receive formal secondary school education, as a new batch of trainees under the program graduated at a ceremony held at the Coconut Bay recently.
The Education Sector Development Plan makes continuing education and training a major priority. In like manner, the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development proposes a substantial increase in the number of youth and adults who possess relevant skills, including technical and vocational skills for employment, decent jobs, and entrepreneurship. It is with this thrust that the National Enrichment Unit NELU continues to reach out to many throughout the island to receive training in several technical and vocational areas, as well as CXC's Caribbean Certificate of Secondary Level Competence, the CCSLC, the Caribbean Vocational Qualification CVQ, and the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate CSEC. Education Officer for NELU, Dr. Cynthia Polius Prescott, is pleased with the collaborations with stakeholders such as the Windward and Leeward Brewery and the Caribbean Examination Council CXE in making the program successful, as well as the remarkable successes in passes for the courses offered.
We have the view that investment in people is one of the best ways, or I should say the best way to promote a better and brighter future, to promote human rights, and to empower people. To manifest this perspective, the NELU continues to cultivate synergies with governmental, non-governmental entities, and the private and public sectors.
Featured speaker Brenda Wilson has worked extensively in social transformation and spoke to the theme, tapping into the power within. She prescribed a sense of purpose as a proper ingredient to be used by NELU graduates in ensuring success at whatever they did, following the first step of grabbing the opportunity provided by the National Enrichment Program.
It's important that we recognize that being present in life is the catalyst that will propel us to see learning beyond going to school or being in a classroom. That's why we must seek to be present in life. And what is being present? To be present, it is to enjoy and make the most of the time you are in. The moment you are in is right now. It means you're in a moment when you feel and know exactly what you want.
Some 1,621 candidates benefited from the NELP program from 15 adult centers across the island, including business establishments. Of that total, 417 were male and 1,002 were female. From the Communications Unit of the Ministry of Education, Innovation, Gender Relations and Sustainable Development, I am Chris Satney reporting.
The island is looking to increase the number of St. Lucians who are part of the Canada Caribbean Agriculture Workers Program. This coming out of an intergovernmental review meeting which was held earlier this week. A consultant at the Ministry of Labour says that with the increase in new farmers coming into the program, there is now room for more workers.
At this point in time, there are about 11,000 workers involved in the Canadian Farm Labour Program. About 5,000 of these are Mexicans, about 9,000 of these are Jamaicans. And then when it comes to the OACS, we'll do just about 1,200. And the intention is to try to increase our numbers. What Minister Keith and the rest of us, Dr. Ambrose, and them will be doing is to, in some ways, try to woo the farmers to see whether they can increase our numbers. The intention is not to ask them to decrease the numbers of the countries that they already have. The intention is not to take from Jamaica or Mexico. The intention is that a lot of new farmers are coming on the program. The Canadian Seasonal Agricultural Workers Program is increasing every year because it is difficult to get these workers who open the farms in Canada. So the numbers will increase. So what we ask them to do is, when the new farmers and the new growers come online and we want to hire people, put in a word for St. Lucia.
St. Lucia currently has close to 290 workers enrolled in the program. You're watching the Hot 7 Nightly News. Up next, Sports News with Tennyson Glasgow.